Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this assignment is essentially put our picture into Photoshop that we took of our partner, or our partner took of us, and go ahead and get rid of the background. So you should have already taken that picture in front of the green screen. You should already know how to upload that from the camera. Fly. Okay, and you should also be able to load that image into Photoshop. So what you're going to do is go ahead and select Start, choose Photoshop, go ahead and choose New, and instead of 8.5 by 11, I'm just going to do 11 by 8.5. Change the orientation of the page. I want to make sure it's at 300 CMYK in color, transparent background. I'm going to label this PS for Photoshop, PS self-portrait. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it should set up my file. So here's my document, and now it's just a matter of going ahead and going File, and then placing my image in here. Okay, now this is pretty important that you know where your image is and that you manage your files appropriately. I was able to just click File, Place, and go right to my image. So I'm just going to steer a little bit off track right now and talk a little bit about file management. So I'm going to hit Windows E on my keyboard. I'm going to take a look in the My Computer menu on this machine, and it's recognizing a thumb drive here called Defo 113. Okay, if I click on this, I can see all the classes that I teach, and I can go ahead and locate this folder that I've created for this project, specifically called Self-Portrait Vector Project. And in that folder right now is an image of myself in front of the green screen. So once again, that's very easy for me to navigate to. Yours should be similarly as easy. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do though is when I get this into Photoshop, I'm going to right click and rasterize this layer. Then I'm going to go up to my crop tool right up here, and we really only need the less that you have to remove. So I'm going to hit Control Z, escape, and then reselect this. I don't need a lot here. Definitely probably a good rule of thumb is shoulders up is fine. If this is a very dim picture, you're going to want to retake it. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to crop this. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to use I'm going to show you a couple of different things we can use to get rid of the background. So if I choose this magic wand tool and I select in here, it chooses all the green, and I can just basically hit delete, and that's going to get rid of the background real easy. To deselect this, I can hit Control D. A lot of times you're going to have a little tiny selection, and you're going to be trying to use your eraser tool or something like that, and it's going to be very difficult to erase. Another thing we can use is this background eraser tool, where we select background eraser tool. We come over here into the area that we want to remove. We hold down the Alt key, making sure that we have this little eyedropper with the crosshairs clicked or selected up here. We hover right over this background we want to get rid of. Easy enough. Press Alt on our keyboard, sample that green color, and start removing the background. And it does do a really good job of removing only those green pixels and nothing else. Okay. So now what I might want to do is zoom in here with Control plus on my keyboard. I can zoom in. I see there's still a little bit of green in some of these areas. Okay, so if I come over here and I just kind of click, really clean this up. Oh, got a little carried away there. But just to really clean this up, maybe move my brush down in size with my bracket tool here, and I can really just get right on the edge of this and get it almost perfect. So you know, there's several methods here that we can utilize to get rid of the background. Whichever one you choose is up to you. I went ahead and chose the background eraser tool here. Kind of one of my favorites, actually. Alright, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and get rid of the rest of this stuff in the background and just basically clean it up with this background eraser tool, any of these odds and ends out here that we see. And here we have a drawing that should basically have no background. Okay. Now, if you really want to see if you got rid of this, you can place this back on like a white background or something like that. That's fine. For the most part, though, that did a really nice job. There's a little bit of green in here, and we can go ahead and get rid of that with just our normal eraser tool here, and we'll adjust our hardness down to 0, and we'll just come in here and just take a real tiny bit off the top, and it kind of just creates that almost like a feathering of the pixels. Okay, so I would say that looks pretty good. I mean, we could really zoom in and spend some time on this as well. And if I just hold my space bar and use my mouse, I can come over here and I can bracket down, use my bracket tools. I mean, I could get right in here and get rid of any little bit of green that I want. Okay, but for the most part, it looks pretty good at this point. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out. Alright, so here we have our picture. Now, there's a couple of things we need to do when we get to this point. Okay, we need to start applying these filters. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Do a file save as. I'm going to save it as a PSD document. I want to make sure I'm saving this in this folder called Self-Portrait Vector Project, and this is PS Self-Portrait. And I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then I'm going to click OK. I want to remind you too that if you wish to put another background in here, basically a fake background, some sort of scenery, this is the time that you want to do it, is in Photoshop. So go ahead and put a background in there. In fact, I encourage you to put some sort of background in there. For demonstration purposes, we're going to concentrate on this without a background. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this image and we're going to turn it into a grayscale image. So if we go up to image and then mode, we can choose grayscale and then discard the color information. Alright, this is going to be one of the vectors we're going to do is a black and white picture. Okay, so what we're going to do, I see there's some stuff in the background I didn't get cleaned up. So I'm going to go in there with the eraser and just make sure that everything's gone. Okay. So once you discard the color information, you can go in and you're probably going to want to adjust your levels, because when we take the picture in front of the green screen, we're in a lot of light. So you might want to come in here and take a look at your levels. More than likely your highlights are going to be pretty high. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this back towards my mid-tone and bring my shadows up almost a little bit. You can easily over adjust your levels. Do not do that. Okay? If it starts looking like a bad Xerox copy, you've probably over adjusted your levels. So that's a before, this is after. Okay, even there, my highlights are a little washed out, so I might bring those out a little bit here. Okay, and I'm going to click OK, and you can adjust other things as well. You can go in and play with the curves on individual parts of this image. Okay, so that's really up to you. I would suggest finding something that is pretty clear though. I'm going to select OK here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying filters. So if I go to filter and then I go to artistic, I can choose from any of these, and the one we want to choose is poster edges. Okay, and what this does, it allows us to basically turn this into a posterized image. So what we're going to do is go ahead and adjust some of the settings on the filter. So go ahead and I would like you to try a few of these. You can see that it's changing quite a bit here. Alright, so the edge intensity is something that you might want to keep down. Posterization, something you probably want to keep down as well. What we're really looking for here is we want to keep these colors, these blotches of colors, to a minimum. Okay, so you should really spend a little time making sure that this poster effect is, and that's too much. This is an example of too much. Okay, this is an example that just doesn't even look like we applied the filter to it. Okay, so maybe you want to try typing something in here like 0.5. It's not going to take that. So let's go with 1. That seems to be good. Alright, and then I'm going to click OK. And here's the image. And the reason we want to keep this down is when we put this into Illustrator, which is going to be next week, when we put this into Illustrator, our next class period, we're going to be tracing this. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to trace, figure out what color we want to use first, but we're going to trace all the way around the outside of this image. And then we're going to turn it into one of these shades, okay, one of these tones. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out, okay, what color do we want to do next? And we'll trace those colors and we'll fill that in. And then we'll work our way to the front, and one of the last layers we trace will probably be this black. Okay, so you want to make sure your image after the poster filter looks like this. If it doesn't look like this, you're going to have a hard time tracing it. Alright, so now we need to save this one. So we're going to go to File, Save As. Once again, make sure you're saving it in this Self-Portrait Vector Project folder. And all I'm going to do is keep this self-portrait, and I'm just going to do an underscore, and a BW is for black and white. It's PSD. I'm going to click Save. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that original one. So I'm going to go to Open. Okay, I'm going to open up this one that we were working with before. Alright, and this is a color one, and what we're going to do here is adjust our levels. Once again, I think we can bring some of our shadows up and our highlights down. Okay. Alright, adjust your levels and then click OK. And then same thing, but this is just in a color image, so it's actually a few less steps. All we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to go to Filter. and artistic is not allowing us to apply this. We're not able to apply this filter at this time. So, and the reason for that is this is CMYK image. So what you can do is you could apply like one of these blur filters if you wish. It's up to you. That's an option. Okay. So you could apply the blur filter, or another thing that you could do is you could just go up to image mode and change this to RGB, and then go ahead and choose filter and then artistic and go back to this poster edges. Okay, and this is set up the same way. Alright, and I'm going to leave that set up like that, and I'm going to save it. Now you can see once again you can do a lot of different things with this. I would keep the edge intensity to 0. The thickness. This one as well, though, this is almost too much. You know, this is right where you'd probably want to be. And then just click OK. And then we're going to do a file save as here. And we're going to save this as self-portrait _ color. I'm going to click save. Click OK. And now basically I've set both of these images up. They're ready to be put in Illustrator. And that's what we'll cover next time.